Hey, folks, the NFL Divisional round of the playoffs is here, and it's pick time. All right, folks, let's get this thing started. All right, so we are one step closer to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Not too long from now, less than a month, and we'll have conference championship games just next week. It's hard to believe that this season is rapidly coming to an end. So let's get on these four games this weekend and I'll make some picks right here. All right, so we're going to start off with the games today. Two games today, two tomorrow. 3:30 Eastern with 3:30 Central, 4:30 Eastern. The Houston Texans going on the road to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs a 9-point favorite. Chiefs have not been good this year when being a favorite. Obviously, they're good in general, but they're 15-2, and you could almost say 15-1 because that last game of the season against Denver when they played no one and just threw that game. Basically, I'm not going to say they threw it, but they didn't try to win. We'll just say it like that. So they found ways to win close games all year. At 9 points, I kind of on the fence because it's a playoff game and it's going to be really cold. I think that Kansas City is going to step it up because it is the playoff game and it's going to be really cold. We all remember what happened last year. I'd like to forget what happened last year in the Chiefs' first playoff game, of course, against the Dolphins when it was really cold. And you had a team not used to cold weather going out there and they just completely went away. And I feel like Houston's going to have a lot of issues here in this cold weather against this Kansas City team. CJ Stroud not been great this year. He's had that sophomore slump. He played well enough last week. The Texans defense was on point. They were really good last week against the Chargers, and that defense led them to that victory last week. So I think this is the type of game that the Texans definitely keep close for a while. I don't think it's a blowout by any means, but at 9 points, I would not bet this game. I wouldn't do it, but if I had to bet this game, I think the Chiefs pull away and win this game by 10 to 13 points. But I think this is a one-score game most of the way. And then I think it ends up being like a 26 to 13, 24-13 type game. Kansas City pulling away, late touchdown. Don't think Houston scores a lot of points here. I would say 17 at the most, maybe. Next game tonight. The Washington Commanders against the Detroit Lions. We know Jaden Daniels balling out. He's got ice water in his veins in the fourth quarter. He does not look like a rookie quarterback. He's been fantastic. He's going against Jared Goff, who I believe led the NFL in passing yards. Don't quote me on that. Believe he led the league in passing yards. I have to look that up just to see if I'm right, because I think Jared Goff was the league leader in passing yards. I'm not looking up postseason, regular season 24. Jared Goff was actually second to Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow's the triple crown. Yeah, yards, touchdowns, all of that stuff. So Burrow's number one, and Jared Goff was, excuse me. Yeah, I'm not going to edit that out either. Jared Goff was number 2 in passing yards. The Detroit's been explosive on offense all year. If this game's close in the end, it might actually favor the rookie quarterback because Jaden Daniels has been so good under pressure late in ball game situations. Usually that's not the case with the inexperienced rookie. I think that Detroit's offense is going to be a little too much. I think they'll do enough on defense. 8.5, again, is not a spread that I like. But I think Detroit does pull it off. Explosive on offense. I think they put up enough points on offense. I think they win this game. Not going to say a blowout, but I think they win fairly comfortably. I can see this game being 35-27, 35-24 type game. But I think Detroit's going to do enough on offense. And the defense, we saw it look really good against Minnesota. We've seen a lot of holes in that defense, though. So I think Jaden Daniels will definitely be able to get his some in that game for the Commanders, but I like Detroit. So we move on to the games tomorrow. We got the LA Rams coming in off a big win last week and moving on in the playoffs. A little bit of a surprise last week, if you will, because the Vikings looked so good 90% of the year. They made Sam Darnold see ghost, and they won that game very comfortably. Sean McVay took out the man known as the tall Sean McVay in Minnesota. So they go into Detroit, going to Philly, excuse me, and Jalen Hurts hadn't had to do a whole lot this year because Saquon Barkley's been a monster, over 2,000 yards, had a chance to break Eric Dickerson's record, but sat out the last game of the year. Um, Philly, man, they didn't really play good in that first game, but they still won comfortably over Green Bay, forcing Jordan Love to make a lot of mistakes. Vic Fangio's doing a fantastic job. They've embraced the discipline of Vic Fangio and that defense, sort of the opposite of what Miami did, because Dolphins wanted Fangio out of there because they couldn't handle the heat. He was too much of an asshole. But they've embraced it in Philadelphia, and their defense is a lot better, championship-level defense. And with Saquon, you could say a championship-level offense, though I think in order for them to get past this game and get past Philadelphia, get past Detroit, and so on, Jalen Hurts is going to have to beat someone. He's going to have to air the ball out and not turn it over. And right now he's playing good because he's only throwing the ball around 20 times a game, so he's not making the turnovers and mistakes he made early in the season and last year, because this has been Saquon's team. Matthew Stafford's been really good at times, but we've seen him not look really good at times too. The Rams have a tendency to get off to slow starts in games, though they did not get off to a slow start by any means against Minnesota. They have a tendency to do that. I like their defense. A lot of good young guys, Jared Verse and those guys they hit on defense. I think the Rams will definitely hang around in this game. The spread 6.5 Philly. I actually like the Rams on the spread. I think they keep it close. I like Philly to win this game. I'm going to say 24 to 20. I think this is going to be a really good game. It can go either way, but I just think with Saquon, I just think Philly finds a way to get through this one. The last game tomorrow, the final game, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, Baltimore Ravens, a 1.5-point favorite on the road against the Buffalo Bills. So the Ravens won handily earlier in the season in Baltimore, and now they got to travel to Buffalo, to Orchard Park, to take on the Bills. And as you know, I'm hoping Lamar Jackson and the Ravens win this game. You probably could figure that out by the simple fact that I'm a Miami Dolphin fan. I am a Buffalo Bills hater for good reason, because they always beat the snot out of my team. They beat my team 13 out of 14, so I don't like you. But this would be a good football game, though, a really good football game. I picked Baltimore in this game. I can definitely see this game going either way. I think this is a field goal to a touchdown game. No one's running away from anyone. I think the key to this game, though, and the key to Baltimore's playoff run this year is you got Derrick Henry, who's got almost 2,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. And we know last year Lamar Jackson tried to make himself a pocket passer against Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, and that didn't go well for him. And they looked like a totally different offense, and they failed miserably on their attempt to go to the Super Bowl. But I think this year, you know, Lamar's running. He's had this ridiculous year, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Derrick Henry, I mean, in the backfield, I think that's the difference maker. Now, when you got Josh Allen on the other side, when you got Josh Allen, it doesn't even matter. I mean, you can beat anybody. There's no doubt about that. The guy's great. There's only a few of these quarterbacks in the league that are truly elite, and you got 2 of them in this game. Like, people complain about quarterbacks all the time, and I'll do a video talking about ranking the quarterbacks in the league. People complain about their quarterbacks, but you only got a handful of guys who are elite. You got a lot of other guys that are in that good category. These guys here are beyond good. These are difference makers for these two teams, and I think it actually helped Josh Allen, the fact that they got rid of Diggs. Diggs was a little bit of a cancer, and I think, you know, being able to spread the ball around more, you know, you got quiet, no-nonsense guys that aren't being divas like Shakir, and you got Mac Hollins, and you got guys like that. You got 2 good tight ends. I really think getting rid of Diggs actually helped Josh Allen. He's not forcing the ball. He's not turning the ball over. He's playing smart, and he's still making the Superman throws. So, but back to my prediction here, I like Baltimore to win this game close. It's only a 1.5-point spread, so if you like Baltimore, I would just take the spread, because unless Baltimore wins by a single point, I can see this game coming down to a field goal. Justin Tucker hasn't been great this season, not like he normally is, but he's made his field goals lately. I like Baltimore. I'm going to say a high-scoring game. I'm going to go Ravens 34-31. Going to be a heck of a game in Orchard Park. So should be a heck of a weekend of football. And I'll come back with my national championship pick, and we'll talk college football before the championship game Monday night. We'll break down these games in another video. And of course, next week we'll be back to preview the conference championships. Got a lot of videos planned out, a lot of NBA stuff we're going to be talking about. Going to be doing that ranking position video. I really am excited about doing a quarterback ranking video. That's going to be a lot of fun. So got a lot of stuff coming up on Eric B's Sports Daily. So make sure y'all are tuned in and hitting the subscribe button and everything like that. So as always, remember, it's peace in sports, and I'll see y'all later.